Hello students, I am Toton Ghosh. I am an English tutor. I live at BARDHAMAN in West Bengal. If you want to contact me, you can contact me through this email ID totonghoshacademy@gmail.com. totonghoshacademy@gmail.com. Are you looking for a competitive English teacher? So you can contact me through this email ID. I give special focus on English grammar and writing skill. So now let's get to the topic. Now let me recite the first stanza of the poem. It's a warm wind, the west wind, full of birds' cries. I never hear the west wind, but tears are in my eyes. For it comes from the wastelands, the old brown hills, and Aprils in the west wind and daffodils. Masefield recalls the sight of the wastelands and the old brown hills when viewed from his native hometown. Tears fell down when he reminds the memorable movements of west winds. He can feel the warm wind blowing from the west and carries with it the sounds that are full of birds' song. Now let me recite the second stanza of the poem. It's a fine land, the wasteland, for hearts as tired as mine. Apple orchards blossom there, and the air is like wine. There is cool green grass there, where men may lie at rest, and the thrushes are in song there, floating from the nest. The vast area of apple orchards produces the fresh air with an aroma of wine. There is also a vast stretch of meadow that is covered with clean, cool, and deep green grass. In the daytime, there are plenty of thrushes singing from their nest, whistling and singing with a clear, soft note like that of a flute. Now, let me recite the third stanza of the poem. Will ye not come home, brother? Ye have been long away. It's April and blossom time. White is the May, and bright is the sun, brother, and warm is the rain. Will ye not come home, brother, home to us again? The west wind declares that it is the blossoming time of April, and the white cleansing of May. The summer rain is soft and warm. It gives a wake-up call to him to come home from wherever he is. Now let me recite the fourth stanza of the poem. The young corn is green, brother, where the rabbits run. It's blue sky and white clouds, and warm rain and sun. It's song to a man's soul, brother, fire to a man's brain, to hear the wild bees and see the merry spring again. The bright sunny days are with some clouds in sky. The wild bees fly about with carefree hearts to see the merry spirit of spring again. The young corn has become green and everywhere around the field the rabbits run in delight. Truly such a marvelous sight is like a song to any man's soul. Now let me recite the fifth stanza of the poem. Larks are singing in the west, brother, above the green wheat. So will you not come home, brother, and rest your tired feet? I have a balm for bruised hearts, brother, sleep for aching eyes, says the warm wind, the west wind, full of birds' cries. In the wastelands, above the green wheat, there are innumerable larks singing. The west wind carries with it the sound of music that is full of birds' cries. Masefield assures all his friends a quiet rest for their tired feet, balm for bruised hearts, and sleep for aching eyes. Now let me recite the last stanza of the poem, which is the sixth stanza of the poem. It is the white road westwards is the road I must tread, to the green grass, the cool grass, and rest for heart and head, To the violets and the warm hearts and the thrushes song, in the fine land, the wasteland, the land where I belong. Masefield finally makes a resolute decision to return home, westward, and tread on the white road of truth, to reach his destination that is filled with the cool and green grass where he can rest his heart and head, the fine land that is filled with violets, warm hearts, and thrushes song is the wasteland where he belongs. The West Wind by John Masefield. At first, let me summarize the poem. Then it will be easy for all of you to understand the poem in a better way. A native of the West, the speaker is well familiar with the climate and environment in his homeland. When the west wind begins to blow, regarded as the gentlest and most pleasant of all winds, it marks the departure of the cold winter and the arrival of warm spring. The speaker is away from home, probably in order to make money. When the west wind reaches his present place, he turns nostalgic. The fond memories of his homeland are aroused at once. He begins to linger in those sweet thoughts. He recalls the beauty of his native place in the month of April. Birds begin to twitter, and there are daffodils blooming here and there. The apple orchards too have blossomed, and the air is sweet with the fragrance of wine. The ground is covered with cool green grass, a perfect place to rest. Thrushes fill the wind with their melodies. It appears to him as if the soothing west wind urges him to go back to his homeland. It's April and blossom time, and white is the May, and bright is the sun, brother, and the warm is the rain. Will you not come home, brother, home to us again? The images of the idyllic charm of his native land in April begin to haunt his memories further. While the corn is green, rabbits run around. He pines to bask in the warmth of the sun and feel the warmth rainwater. He longs to hear the song of larks and the buzzing of the bees. In this season, the whole nature seems to be in a joyous state at his homeland. But the expressions tired feet, bruised hearts, and aching eyes evokes a sense of somberness. The west wind urges the speaker to return, saying, "So will you not come home, brother, and rest your tired feet? I have a balm for bruised hearts, brother, sleep for aching eyes." Finally, the homesick, the speaker can't resist himself anymore to stay away from his native place and people. Makes up his mind to return home. It's the white road. Westwards is the road I must tread. To the green grass, the cool grass, and rest for heart and head. To the violets and the warm hearts and the thrushes song, in the fine land, the wasteland, the land where I belong. If you listen the summary of the poem very carefully, so it will help you to understand the poem. The fond memories of the poet's homeland are instantly aroused when the west wind begins to blow. Unlike the harsh winter, the west wind is comforting because it's mild and warm. It heralds the advent of the pleasant spring after the severe winter. The poet's home is located in the west among the old brown hills, but at present he is far away from his native place, possibly to earn his livelihood. Describing means as soon as he perceives the soft touch of the west wind, he gets nostalgic, and as a result, tears are in my in my eyes means in the poet's eyes. It stirs up the cherished memories of his native place during this fine weather. Describing the magnificence of his homeland in April, the poet says, with the blowing of the west wind, the atmosphere becomes resonant with the sweet birds' cries. Daffodils begins to come up and beautify the environment. But he is miles away, sad and depressed, yearning to return to his place among his family and people. Away from his homeland in the west, the speaker yearns to go back home with the blowing of the warm west wind. The cherished memories of his native place in the month of April are instantly evoked. They turn him nostalgic and upset. I never hear the west wind, but tears are in my eyes, for it comes from the westlands, the old brown hills. The west wind is the harbinger of spring. After the harsh winter, the warm west wind is soothing. Its perception reminds the speaker of the pastoral beauty of his native place where he longs to return. During this time, the birds begin to chirp, daffodils, and the apple orchards blossom, the ears like wine. There is a cool green grass there where men may lie at rest. Thrushes can be heard floating from the nest. The young corn is green, the rabbits run. The sky is blue and the clouds are white. Both the sun and the rain are warm, and the buzzing of the bees is like song to a man's soul, and fire to a man's brain. These pleasant memories of his native land make him all the more homesick and wistful. The phrases tired feet, bruised hearts, and aching eyes suggest the pain and discomfort that afflict the speaker away from his motherland. It seems to him as if the west wind is insisting on his returning home. Will you not come home, brother? You have been long away. The urge to go back home is so strong in the speaker that he can't prolong his stay in the alien land anymore. He makes up his mind to set off for the place he actually belongs to. It's the white road. Westward is the road I must tread to the green grass, the cool grass, and rest for heart and head, to the violet and the warm hearts and the thrushes song in the fine land, the westland, the land where I belong.